Hey ProbStats kids, this is Dr. Callahan for week 9 Wednesday. I hope you guys are having a good day halfway through the week. So these are the following 3 questions for your warm-up blog. Keep in mind that today is Wednesday and this is going to be due on Friday, so it's definitely coming out for 300 points. So pause the video and answer the following 3 questions. All right, so this is an interesting thing that I saw that was on Twitter the other day, and these are the most hated foods in each of the 50 states that they did surveys on. And so given the fact that this is a probability and statistic class, I thought this is kind of an interesting way of collecting data and representing. I have to say, I'm not sure why Nevadans hate La Croix, the bubbly water. So I thought that was kind of interesting. California apparently does not like Chick-fil-A. I don't know. I love Chick-fil-A, and so does my kids. And every time I go to Chick-fil-A, the one in Sparks, it seems like there's always a really, really long line, just like In-N-Out burgers. But I thought it was kind of interesting. All right, you guys. So last time I saw you guys was on week 9, Tuesday, whether it was online or in person, but you guys did take a assessment on sections 1.1, which you guys have to identify population and a sample. And remember, the sample is always part of the population, but it has a numerical value, so it's a little bit more specific. And that's what sample is in relation to population. It's 8 questions, multiple choice for numbers 6 and 7, or excuse me, it should be 7 and 8. And then fill in the blank for numbers 1 to 6. So if you did not do this, make sure you go on to MS Team and do that because that grade is going into your grade book. All right, so take a look at the breakdown for today. Today, we're going to talk about the differences of qualitative and quantitative data. And we're also going to talk about data with respect to the 4 levels of measurements. And yesterday, I did give you guys a little bit of introduction to that, like nominal, interval, ordinal, and ratio data. So these are 4 different classifications. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about that. We're also going to go over notes for 1.2, objectives 5 and 6. We're going to go ahead and do a Kahoot on qualitative versus quantitative. 4 different type of data classifications. We're going to have a quizzes on that. And then tonight your homework is 1.2, number 2 to 20 evens, number 26 and 28. And then you will have a quiz on 1.2 tomorrow. So that's kind of the breakdown we're going to be talking about today. So with that said, I'm going to have you guys go ahead and get started with this on page 4. All right, so qualitative data, the way I kind of remember it is I think about qualities for qualitative. And because it's qualities, it is not going to involve numbers, okay? And they consist of attributes, labels, or non-numerical entries. So for example, some of the examples that will be attributed to qualitative will be zip codes. I know you're like, well, isn't zip codes and numbers? I'm like, yeah, they're numbers, but they're not really numbers that mean anything. It's not like you're taking the average of, zip codes or anything. Another one will be like gender, for example, male, female. It could be age. It could be hair color. Now, when you start talking about like maybe the average hair length of somebody, of a collection of girls or boys, then you're going into quantitative, which is data that does involve numbers. But for hair colors, like, blonde, brunette, redhead, pink nowadays, gray, those are just qualitative attributes. You could do like a color of somebody's shirt. Those are all qualitative because they talk about qualities. Quantitative, on the other hand, is going to be numerical measurements or counts. So some examples of this will be somebody's height. Okay, you would have to have something in feet and inches or in centimeters if you're in the UK. Somebody's weight in pounds. It could be somebody's age. And I know you're like, but wait a second, you just said age is a qualitative. Yeah, but you can classify them differently. Like age could be, you could go ahead and use that as in like categories, for example. You could say somebody who is like pre-K, okay? Somebody who is in first grade, second grade, third grade. You could say somebody who is in middle school versus high school. So there is no numbers affiliated with that, just categories. And that still qualifies as age for qualitative. Now, age here could be like ages literally 1 year old to, 18 years old. Okay. And in which case, if there's a number with that, then that will definitely be quantitative. It could be the numbers of siblings, like how many brothers and sisters somebody have on average, the number of children. I think the average number of children that a person have here in Reno, I think they said something like 1.86. So on average, about 2 kids in a household, although that number is actually going down. I have 4, so that's definitely above the average. It could also be somebody, the number of years that they have been married. So my husband and I, we've been married for 17 years, so we definitely beat the 5-year average marriage. So woohoo for that. All right, so then let's take a look at the next example. Go ahead and read this example right here. All right, so you're looking at the prices of cars that's made by Ford. So if I ask you to list some qualitative attributes versus quantitative attributes on this vehicle, then what you can say about the qualitative is that it is about models of cars, okay? Different models like Fusion, Escape, Explorer. I'm not a big Ford's fan, but yeah, those are the different models of Ford's car. Quantitative, what you can see from this chart, is going to be the price or the money of each of the vehicle based on the models. All right, next part, nominal levels of measurements. And remember, there are 4, so this is the first one. Nominal is going to be the lowest measurement of data. It is definitely qualitative data only. Its categories can be using names, labels, or qualities, and there are absolutely no mathematical computations. So you do not use mean, median, mode, or range. You don't find the average of anything, and you just don't have any numbers. The second level is ordinal measurement, and this is going to be the second lowest. And when I say lowest, I'm also meaning like the most simple to collect. So this one could be qualitative, or it could be quantitative. And this is interesting now because especially if you want to get into a good paying job and you want to be in like a managerial supervisor role, you might have to collect some data, in which case when you do collect data, to turn in your quarterly reports, the CEO of a big company or something, you might want to figure out what type of data you're going to be collecting. The data can be arranged in order or rank. For example, like first place, etc., fourth place, something that can be ranked, like smallest to biggest. And the difference of the data and entries is not meaningful. I know you're like, what does that mean? Don't worry, we'll go over an example to have that make more sense for you. All right, so now let's go on to the third level. Okay, so let's take a look at the bottom example right here. Don't worry, we're going to get to the next one, the number 3, number 4 in a second. So looking at this part right here, it says two data are shown. Which data consists of data at the nominal level? Which data consists data at the ordinal level? And this is the answer. Nominal is the first one. These are just all of the different networks like ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, all the different channels, network channels. Okay, and it's really meaningless. I mean, like, all of these channel doesn't mean anything. I mean, does it matter that Fox is first after ABC, the way I organize it? No, it's absolutely meaningless. Verse says this, the second one is ordinal. And in this one, the rank does matter. Why does it matter? Because when you look at it, these are the top 5 TV programs that was actually that was shown to the general public. And what are the most watched shows on TV? Apparently, American Idol on Tuesdays, followed by American Idol on Wednesdays, when they figure out who actually won or who's going on to the next round, followed by Grey's Anatomy, House, and CSI. All right, so the third one is the second highest. You're going to have to subtract it. This is a quantitative data. The data can be ordered. The differences between the data entries is meaningful, and the 0 represents a position on a scale. Fourth one is called ratio level of measurement. This is the highest accuracy of measurement. It's similar to interval. 0 entry is going to be considered as inherent or none. A ratio of 2 values can be performed, and one data value can be expressed as a multiple of another. All right, next one to do is I'm gonna go ahead and fill out this cute little chart right here. And before I fill out this cute little chart, go ahead and read this example right here. And tell me which one is gonna be at the interval level and which one's gonna be at the ratio level based on the last two that we just completed. Well, the first one is the interval level. And the reason for that is because if you're looking at the New York Yankees for the World Series, the only way that you can actually, look at these years and dates is to subtract them. Like, how long did it take them to win the next victory for the World Series? Well, from 1923, their next series was won in 1927. So, how many years lapsed in between the first series and the second winning of the second series? It looks like there's 4 years in between them. So that's something that you can just subtract. Now, on the right side, it's a ratio because you can subtract and you can go ahead and rank this as a multiple. And the reason I'm talking about this is because this is showing the home runs total by team, and you can actually rank them. Like, oh, okay, well, who has the most home runs? Well, who is going to be ranked first? So because there's an extra level of computation and an extra level of organization, it is ratio, and this is the highest level of measurement. All right, so now let's go ahead and fill out this cute little chart, okay? It's a summary of the 4 levels of measurements, and it's gonna be either a yes or a no. So go ahead and read them. With each of the 4 levels of measurement, nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Can you put these data in categories? Can you arrange them in order? Subtract the data values and determine if there's a multiple of another? First, let's label them first, second, third, and fourth. Fourth meaning that it is the most effective. So first category, can you put them in categories? Yes, 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 and yes for all 4 of them. Can you rearrange the data in order? Nope. Yes, yes, and yes. Are you able to subtract the data value? Absolutely not for the first one because there's no number. Not for the ordinal. Yes for interval and yes for ratio. Just like this one, you can subtract it. Determine if one data value is a multiple of another. No, 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 and then yes. All right, you guys. So what I want you guys to do right now is take a moment, reflect on what we just did. Fact before, facts after. So write down one fact you think you knew before the lesson, and then write down one fact that you definitely know after the lesson. Pause and answer, please. Okay, so the next thing what I want you guys to do, if you're at home, because normally if you're going to be in class, we'll be doing this outside with chalk. But since you're at home, you can do this on just a separate piece of paper. So you're going to read each of the examples below. Select one that is of interest to you. Then you're going to create a title that appropriately represents the scenario. What are the numbers referring to? You're going to be looking at each of these boxes, pick one. You're going to go ahead and go, this one makes more sense to me. Interpret the data of what the question is showing here. And then you're going to draw the frequency table, graph, or chart. Some of them was already shown to you, so you can just go ahead and just copy it. And then lastly, this is important. What conclusion or inferences can you draw from the study? Use 2 or more sentences to describe your summary. And the last part, I want you to go ahead and come up with 2 additional questions to ask in order to further to continue the study. Like if you're a research person and you want to continue the study with a further research question, what are 2 that you can use? All right, another thing is that if you're actually in class and you have this in front of you, I'm gonna have you guys pick 5 positivity mindset quotes that best describe you. You won't be able to color this if you're at home, but you can go ahead and pick 5, just write it down. Next, come up with 3 more positivity mindset quotes you use on a daily basis. 1, 2, and 3. And just write it on a separate piece of paper or somewhere in your white packet. That's totally fine as well. All right, you guys, that is it. I hope you guys are having a fabulous Wednesday, and I hope to see you guys next time. Keep in mind that on Thursdays and Fridays, I will not be there for 5th and 6th period, but I will be here in the morning. Unfortunately, for 5th and 6th period, I will be occupied for a meeting. So you have a sub, but you also will have to watch this on the YouTube channel for week 9 Thursday and week 9 Friday. So lucky for you guys, your warm-up vlog is not going to be due until Monday. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you later. Stay safe and healthy.